my friends, last game that we saw, the main thing that happened last week was a lot of you went into the catacombs with an elder Giovanni named Luca, where Vincent summoned the soul of the Bali who had died and who had been carrying that piece of Judas tree bark with your names on it. You summoned him, but unfortunately this Bali, of course, as a Bali, his soul, or her soul rather, was sold to some nefarious entity who tried to mess around with you. The entity tried to get you to break the circle that was protecting Vincent, but all of you, including Helena, much to my surprise, resisted the urge to just... It was hard, right? But in the end, you basically had a little bit of information that basically hinted mostly at the fact that there was kind of a greater plot going on, something behind the scenes with some very big players, and that everyone was kind of just pawns, and that all of this that was happening was kind of part of that. So it was mostly kind of a realization that a lot of the things that have been happening to you and that are going on that seem to maybe be disconnected are actually kind of all connected and part of some grander scheme played out between some older, very powerful vampires. You followed that up by going to Lee's rescue. Lee, who had been ambushed by Verena the net game before. You found him buried with a note calling him a traitor. You dug him out. He attacked Teddy, but you managed to control him. You gave him some blood, and he's now wounded, but kind of healing and kind of getting back on track. You did find out that he was like you, he's Carter's child, and he was once part of the Sabbat, but he has turned his back on them. So that was something you discovered last time. And finally, poor Cassie we also saw Vincent flipping the bird to the head of the Giovanni family, and then Cassie got a call by from the police saying that someone named Elliot had been killed in a most outrageous manner, and that Cassie was a person of interest. Hey, thank you, Sithy, for the donation. Everyone's got a night move. Thanks to Sithy. Thank you very much. Yes, poor Elliot. So for those of you counting coup, Elliot, the student, was killed by Francis, one of the Sabbat players, or characters, rather, in the last Sabbat game, the last Severed game, after she had just met Cassie, and they found a book and a letter written to Cassie on the bedside table. And so the cops, of course, want to talk to Cassie. All of you, or three of you, had recently gotten indications that perhaps going to New York might be a good idea. Vincent was summoned by his mentor. Helena has to go down to pick up an item that is coming in that Bahari needs, and she has asked Teddy to accompany her. And hey, Hype Train, thank you so much for the Hype Train. We're on the Hype Train, bottoms up. We should ask Guns N' Roses if we can use that track. I'm sure they'll agree. And Cassie, you had received a Malkavian network phone call from basically someone claiming to be your sire, Samael, and saying that if you wanted answers, that you should come and see him. And he happens to be at the Liberty RV Park in New York, just near where the Statue of Liberty is. And that is where we begin our story tonight, my friends. Tonight's episode, of course, called Apple. And we begin our story in the Liberty Park, in the Liberty RV Park in New York, where by now Samael is getting kind of drunk. The Statue of Liberty rises above him like an insult. His RV stinks of old blood and fear, and on his table are 3 beautiful red apples. He grabs one and spins it like a top. He laughs and then says to no one in particular, "The thing about the apple, see, is it's not the apple, it's the tree. The apple was just a sweet little nothing the snake bandied in front of Eve to get her to break the rule. There was nothing in the apple. It's a fruit, it was sweet, the kind that's got a bit of bite to it, a bit of a tough exterior, but this soft, mushy interior, and that just explodes with juices in your mouth. You know, the best kind. but it was just a fucking apple. The point, see, was Eve actually eating it. It could have been anything, an ear of corn, a rhododendron. Hell, the devil could have pulled out his own little pinto for her to chew on. It didn't fucking matter. It was the act. And more than the act, it was the volition. Devils sneak into your home and offer the fruit. They may even tell you you've been eating the fruit all along. But what they really need you to do is this. You have to choose to eat the fruit. Before my brain got remanded by drugs, I was pretty smart, I was well-read, educated. Paradise Lost, you ever hear that one? Milton was blind when he wrote that. He had his 3 daughters take turns writing from his diction. But that Milton, he knew a thing or two about the devil. When he was called upon to address Parliament, he said to them, "What is purity without temptation? Only once one is tempted and resists the temptation can one be truly seen as pure." So temptation is part and parcel of purity. Like the old song says, love and marriage, horse and carriage, can't have one without the other. And they call this place the Big Apple. Easiest symbolism ever, really. This place is not evil. It's the sweet fruit. It offers you the choice. Will you take it? Will you reach out your own stained hands to what is offered, or will you resist temptation? The apple has nothing to do with it. The snake is selling the tree and all the wisdom it contains. The apple is just to get you through the door. And then most people just sit there looking at the apple, licking their lips and not seeing the snake who is slithering up behind. Fuck the apple, man. Keep your eye on the goddamn snake. Somewhere on a private airfield just outside of Chicago, a jet is taxiing, getting ready to take off. It's a private jet owned by a corporation that's owned by a corporation that's owned by a corporation that is owned by the Giovanni. Aboard this jet, heading for New York just as the sun has disappeared, are our 4 friends, Teddy, Helena, Vincent, and Cassie. The 4 of you sitting very comfortably in this fairly big private jet. You have as much room as you want, or private rooms, everything you might need. Fresh blood in the freezer, not in the freezer, but in the fridge. You can get it warm if you want. A couple of ghouls are on the plane taking care of you. They'll bring you warm towels to put on your face. They'll bring you snacks, whatever you need. There's an in-flight movie.
What
interestingly
movie?
enough, the movie tonight, interestingly enough, is Escape from New York.
Amazing.
Yep. The 4 of you are on this plane. The flight is going to be fairly short. It's dark. It's quiet. What do you do?
I think Helena's sending cryptic messages to Hayden as a way of flirting with him. She's not going to tell him where she's going until she gets there. But she's kind of putting feelers out to see if he knows anything about this Elliot person that's turned up dead. I would assume that Cassie would tell us at this point.
I don't know. Would Cassie have said anything?
No.
Okay. Well, then
Cassie
never
hasn't
mind.
said anything about Elliot. All you guys know is that she went up into the spare room in Helena's shop and started to cry.
I think then, yeah, she's just sending cryptic, flirty messages and watching this movie.
You, after a couple of them, you get a reply. Are you flirting?
Yes.
Oh. I'm working.
What are you doing?
I'm working.
On what?
On work.
Goodbye. And then she just puts her phone down.
Somewhere in Chicago, Hayden's like, "Yeah, God."
I imagine that Teddy's been sitting with Lee, but she's gonna get up and find Cassie. Would Cassie be kind of like with everybody?
Yeah, I think Cassie would be sort of away from everyone though. Like she's sitting in like the main cabin, but just away from everyone probably. She's playing with the window shade. She's just putting it up and down and up and down and up and down.
Hey, Cass.
Hey.
You wanna go somewhere? Just talk.
Yeah, there's a lot of rooms on this plane. I didn't think planes had so many rooms.
Some of them do.
Sure. Cassie'll get up.
Yeah, I think she'll lead her to a separate room and kind of close the door behind her so they have a little privacy. Everything okay? What's happened? And
Yeah.
I know that I've been preoccupied with Lee, and I just don't want you to think that I don't care.
No, you have every right to give him your attention right now. He needs it. He was in a coffin. That was really weird. I had I don't know that she was a friend necessarily. Maybe the beginnings of one. The cops called me about they found her. She's dead.
Are you okay?
I think that's the weird thing. I feel like I should be sad. But I think that there's this realization that I had that I'm gonna watch this happen a lot. People that you grow and love, humans that you grow and loved, are gonna die. And you just have to watch it happen.
Teddy's gonna sit next to her and put an arm around her. Yeah, I know what that feels like. I'm really sorry, Cass, that happened. But
Yeah.
I'll always be here for you. No plan on going anywhere.
Cassie's gonna sort of lean into Teddy a little bit. I know. Even if you decide to go wander for a while again, I know you're still there. That's comforting.
It's gotta be hard being around all those humans for your school. Trying not to make too deep of a connection with them. Feeling different.
Cassie's gonna sort of look down as she thinks about this. I mean, kind of always felt different. Now I'm just sort of different in a different way. I think that I want to make those connections even though they're going to bring me pain in the end.
It's not a bad thing. At least you acknowledge the reality of it. You're not trying to fool yourself.
Yeah, I think I've spent a lot of time trying to fool myself in the past. It doesn't seem to work out for me very well. So you might as well face things head on, huh?
Yeah. I wanted to bring up, I can't stop thinking about the mausoleum and the ritual with the Bali and whatever happened to you, what I saw.
Did it? Cassie looks unsure for a second. Did it scare you?
It did. I was scared that something was gonna happen and I was gonna lose you.
Well, I'm not going to say nothing happened because something certainly did happen. But I'm still here.
What did happen?
I kind of went inside of myself. I used to back when I was in the foster system, there was a place I used to hide in like a vent when things got to be too much. And I was back there again, and I think something else took over.
Yeah. It's like there was another person there for a minute.
She was speaking French.
Yeah. Does that ring any bells for you? Any connections there?
Back at the hospital 5 years ago, I met someone, not really formally met, more spoke to a woman. She had a French accent. She was very beautiful. I think she was like me.
Do you remember what she said to you?
Not really. The professor, though, Professor Hollings, he wanted to bring her back. It was like this maybe fascination he had. He had a poster of her. I think she might be gone, dead, whatever it is that happens to us when we're no longer here.
Do you think that he could have done something to you? So maybe... I feel crazy even saying this, honestly, because I don't understand what's going on, but I felt like you were not you and there was someone else inside you controlling you, and maybe this Professor Hollins, maybe he has something to do with this. Maybe he's trying to bring her back through you.
Maybe? I mean, I don't know what he did, though. He had taken something from me, so it's weird to think that he might have, like, maybe it was like a cork, something stopping things from coming out, and he uncorked whatever it was, like a wine bottle. I don't know if that makes sense.
Was it like a physical? Like, did he cut you?
He tore it out, yeah. He said that they had placed it in me when we were embraced.
I think I might know someone who was at least there. Maybe they have some answers. We can go talk to Lee.
Yeah. Or, my sire, he called himself my dad, but it's sire, contacted me.
When was this?
Last night?
Was that the first time?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, maybe I've always heard his murmurings, but, no, I think the first time we've actually spoken. There's this weird thing. I hear people in my head, and not in like well, maybe in a weird way, but I think that they're alive, or at least most of them are alive. They were alive at one point, and I hear them in my head sometimes, and sometimes it doesn't make sense, and other times it does. And he spoke to me, told me to come to New York to talk to him.
Well, if he's anything like my sire, then we have to be very careful.
Mm-hmm.
Fortunately, we weren't made by the good guys, I guess. So I don't really know the good guys anymore.
I think it's more of whoever plays by their own rules. Everyone has a set of rules that they're playing by, and not all of them align.
Maybe we should go out and talk to Lee. I don't want to make him look like a bad guy, because I don't think he is, because I think that people can change. But I talked to him the other night about my sire and his situation, and he knew a lot. He remembers that night when we were changed. And
He was there?
I didn't confirm it with him, but the way he spoke, it felt like it.
Okay.
And I like to think that he came and he met us, and maybe he saw the light a little bit. And I just don't want you to think that he's a bad guy, Cass, because I really don't think he is.
No, I mean, I don't have, I mean, he's like your, you like him?
I care a lot about him. Yeah.
Well, then that makes him important to me as well, if he's important to you. So
She's gonna turn and kind of like give a kiss to the top of your head and squeeze her arm around you a little tighter. You're the best, Cass.
there's like a little smile that, kind of like a giddy smile. First one you've seen from Cassie since last night. And she leans in. I really missed you, Teddy.
I missed you so much. You ready to go back out there and see if we can get some answers?
Yes.
All right. And she's gonna stand up and make her way back into the main area of the plane.
Cassie will follow after.
Awesome. I want to say thank you to Creature for the donation of bits. Everyone got an extra night move from the Creature. Thank you very much, Creature. I'm not a monster. What are you talking about? I do want to clarify a point, though, because we had talked about whether or not Vincent's lawyers might be helping Cassie out with the cop situation, but then Cassie would probably have had to tell them what that was all about. So
Cassie would have told Vincent, because at the end of the episode, Vincent had come in after Cassie, but she wouldn't have told the others at that point.
Okay. So you would have known then yourself. Okay, so that's cool. I just wanted to clarify that so that Kurt knew what he knew and what he didn't know.
I think we all heard that voicemail too, because she played it out loud because she was unsure whether what she was hearing was real or not from the last episode.
Yeah, you guys just didn't know who Elliot was specifically.
Yeah. Okay. Elliot's dead, baby. Elliot's dead.
That's a bit bleak, isn't it?
It's a bit bleak. I like
It
Elliot.
gets bleaker from here.
I don't think it's bleaker from here. Meanwhile, so in the plane, I did forget to mention, but Lee's there also. He's recumbent on some seats up front. He has finally been able, now that a night has gone by, he's finally been able to heal the aggravated wound, but he remains a little bit kind of weak and underpowered, but he's leaning back and he's watching Escape from New York, and he's thinking how fucking cool Kurt Russell is. You know, and you can hear him. He's trying to make Kurt Russell's voice. He's up front. He's like, "Call me Lee."
Oh my god, that's so embarrassing.
No, just shut up! And I throw something at him from like 4 seats back.
Teddy walks out and like looks at Cass and just reiterates, just remember he's not a bad guy.
It's like, if I grew out my hair, I'd look just like him. Maybe I should get an eye patch.
Yeah, and lose about 6 inches in height.
He's not that short, is he? And Lee looks over at the back of the seats. Is he really that short?
Yeah.
Man, that guy should have played Wolverine, and he ducks back in front.
I can take care of the eye problem for you, though, if you hold still.
Don't touch me. Don't. Just, what are you? Don't. No. While that discussion was going on, was there any other discussions that needed to happen?
Oh, yes.
The floor's yours.
So at this point, Vincent is very casually dressed in straight up a pair of gray sweatpants, a flannel hoodie, a t-shirt, and sneakers. And he's just like, you gotta fly. You know, you gotta fly in comfort. You know, I mean, if you're gonna fly, I mean, be comfortable. So, Helena, if you don't mind, can I chew your ear for just a minute or two?
Would it matter if I
Well,
told you
then
I
the
minded?
opportunity will be lost to you.
Oh, this can only be so good if you're offering me an opportunity.
Well, you know, the way I look
Vincent.
at it is, you know, we've got to learn to work together to ensure that mutual, you know, beneficial things happen. And, you know, and plus, for lack of a better term, I'm fairly new to the city and I don't really know a whole lot. I've been here long, but not that long. I have a question for you.
I might have an answer.
I'm hoping it's more than might. How well are you connected within the city? Specifically, how well do you know the leaders of the city?
Well, I met the prince once.
Twice.
Unless you mean the Rotary Club president.
Very well.
I know the Rotary Club president.
That's not exactly what I'm looking for. You're...
What do you want?
What I want to know is more or less what Josiah knows. Specifically...
Ooh, now you're asking very
very pointed
dangerous
questions.
questions with that.
Nah. See, I don't really give two fucks.
Dangerous.
I don't give two fucks about your clan. I'm more interested in the holdings of my clan within the city, because some things aren't adding up.
Okay.
And I'm willing to bet the one who made you been around the block a time or two.
Oh, I think that you might be right on that bet. I'm glad that you are, in fact, a betting man. Now, do you want to play this game of betting on whether or not I'm willing to help you or not?
I mean...
Give me the offer, Vincent. Stop pussyfooting around.
Listen, I'm just saying, if you happen to scratch my back, I can scratch yours. a favor for a favor. After all, that is what we deal in.
I think you see something in Helena's eyes, and it's not a spark, it's not excitement. It is nothing short of diabolical. A favor. I like a favor. But I don't really need anything from you, Vincent.
Not right now.
Maybe we can call this... Oh yeah, maybe I'll need it in the future. But perhaps we can call this an IOU.
No. There'll be strict guidelines on the... I seek information. The favor that I request is information.
You want...
So therefore, the favor I will grant you is information. And information...
You need my help, I don't need yours.
Oh, okay. He just says, he immediately just leans back and puts his... a serpent turning down a deal. It's a new world.
I didn't say no.
Oh.
I'm just letting you know. There are no terms with me. If you want my help, I'll give you my help. But I'm going to remember it. And I need you to understand something, Vincent. That's very good of me to do. I'm very good at that. Yes, remembering.
That's true. But you see, without the limitations...
That's what you want.
Fair enough. I want to know what your sire knows about my primogen in this city.
I believe I can make that happen, but I'm curious why you want to know so bad. What's got your panties in a twist?
Because he's not acting the way a member of the family should act, as far as I'm concerned. And I just want to make sure that maybe, you know, he's not trying to turn things into something else.
You're not gunning for a chair somewhere, are
Hell
you?
no. Fuck that. That just puts...
You want a seat at the,
that just put...
you don't
No,
want
that
to sit
just...
at
That
the
just...
table?
That just puts a target on your back, and I'm not about that one. That table, that high table, not really of interest to me. What is of interest to me, though, is making sure that people who say they are who they are. And don't try and change the family into something it's not.
I think I can help you.
I personally think the bastard's been sitting a little
so
too...
charitable to help.
Ooh. Fair enough.
I'll do it for free.
No, you won't.
Lots of... I'll definitely do. Yeah, I will. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Let me do this even better for you. I can get Hayden out.
Why would I want your Tremere fuck buddy?
I think he's pretty good at figuring out some information, but Bahari as well will be quite apt for the job, I'm sure.
Fair enough. But, understand, I request information. The favor that's returned will be of equal, not greater.
I don't want a favor back from you, Vincent. No. I hate to break this to you.
Yeah?
I really do. But you don't know me nearly as well as you think you do. You don't have me figured out. Wait, before you say anything, I don't think you quite understand. My goals and my ideals only require my success. I need help from no one.
I have a small question for you then.
Yeah.
You want to talk about them kids?
What about him?
I don't know. The Spectres seemed real interested in mentioning them to you. So now we're playing ball.
Oh no.
Go on, do tell. This is most interesting to me.
Because you've said on a multiple occasion, Vincent, that you don't give a shit about what I do as long as it doesn't affect Cassie, and I would never hurt
You
Cassie.
better not.
Make that very clear. I had the kids. I sent them a message. I had some pot. Goth kids love pot.
Okay.
I had Bahari waiting for him in my apartment.
Yes.
I let them upstairs. I closed the door. And I sat outside and I waited for her to finish. That's it.
That's really boring. I'm kind of disappointed in that story.
You should be. Now, are we playing ball or what? Do you feel like a big man now, Vincent, now that you have the big, deep
No,
dark
I was
secrets of
legitimately
Helena? I fed my sire.
curious why the Spectres were so interested in bringing up them kids. No, that's not what we're playing ball. Sorry, sweetheart. You're coming to my turf. Welcome to New York.
I think Helena will sit back and she'll watch Vincent for a second. And she's got that sort of Stanley Kubrick smile. Her head down, her eyes forward. And I think she feels accomplished. I think she now has a little bit of leverage.
Vincent, like leaning back into his chair, just looks at her, smiles, pulls out his phone, and he sends to a number, right? The plane emoji, snake emoji, cross eyes emoji.
You killed her.
Yeah, it worked. It was just like that, mid-flight. Bam. I think probably once that's done, he would probably turn and look back, right, and probably see Cassie and Teddy coming out. You girls have fun?
We weren't playing a game.
Oh, well, that's good to know.
Call me Lee.
Will you stop that? Your boyfriend up there thinks he's Kurt Russell.
He's not my boyfriend, but thank you.
Yeah, well, whatever.
Plus, nobody can be Kurt Russell. Let's be
Exactly. No one can top the man. No one can be him. Only he can be him.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe if you asked, you could top him.
Okay. I love you,
I don't
sweetheart.
really think he's a bottom, Cass.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really get those vibes.
People could surprise you.
This is true.
Yeah, it's very true. You girls good? You need anything? We have refreshments.
I think maybe we need to have a little bit of a group huddle.
All right. Well, we've got about 2 hours.
Huddle.
She looks up to Lee. That includes you, Lee.
Let's get into the good part. He's about to get to Adrian Barbeau. Fine.
Vincent stands up with a remote and hits pause. See how simple that is?
Shit, man, you really got everything in this plane.
It's my fucking plane. Yeah.
I'm just saying. I was
DVD
being...
players.
Is it your plane or is it the family's plane?
Yeah, tomato. Anyway.
He comes over. Ow, damn it.
How are you feeling?
Oh, like I was stabbed through the chest with my own rib cage and then buried alive, and then dug out. And
What was that like?
well, see, there's certain pain that you're like, how can this even be happening? Like, for the most of it, I was like, how the fuck is this even happening? Like, I was trying to just understand the math of it. And so it only hit a little bit later, but when it hit, boy howdy, there was no fun to be had. Vorena is she's a doll. She really is. She's very sweet and very, but also probably like the fucking devil herself. So,
You just said two very contradicting statements.
I know, but that fucking, you haven't met Vorena, Cassie.
I don't think I want to, given that she put your rib in your chest.
I think of all the people on this plane, if there was like one person I would say never meet Vorena, it would be you.
I'm gonna like look around to Teddy and Vincent and be like, fuck does he mean by that?
I don't know, but I don't like it.
Yeah. But I'll be all right. I'll be fine. Feeling better already. So you do this often, these group puddles?
First one.
Right. She's gonna sit down. I thought maybe you could give us some insight into the night that we were returned.
Who, me?
Yeah.
It looks like you like, what did you tell these guys?
Enough.
Well, so you have to understand that I wasn't there. And by that point, I'd already been for a long time disconnected from all that, and out on my own. I mean, so what I got is like secondhand information.
Read him to see if he's telling the truth?
I'm not lying. I wouldn't lie to you. Never have.
I am 100% empathy checking this guy. 100%.
Yeah.
I see his aura.
Let me see his aura. Let's see. Let's look at what you would see. You want to do a roll?
Sure.
Yeah, make a roll. You are looking at rolling.
Perception and empathy.
Yep. Perception and empathy.
What am I looking for?
8.
I got 2 successes, and I'll dump. Can I dump a night move?
Yep.
For an extra success.
Yep. So with 3 successes, you can recognize the color pattern. I would say that at the moment when you read him now, he is. You realize that he is getting a little bit of. So you would have kind of blue shifting into dark blue a little bit, but the shifting colors are kind of mottled, and it indicates to you that it's not so much that he's feeling suspicious towards you, but more that he's just unsure of what's going on, kind of thing.
Okay.
So there might be some light green, maybe kind of mixed up in that, but you also see an outline of white.
Okay.
Anybody else making rolls of some sort? You wanted to make an empathy check?
I had 2 successes.
had-
If you're sticking with 8 as the...
No, it'll be lower in this particular case. For the empathy, it'll be 6s.
Oh, okay. Then I have that's 5 successes.
I got 2.
Okay. So between the two of you, I will tell you if you feel that he's, kind of whether you feel he's being dishonest or whatnot as we go along. Okay, right now he feels, the sense you're getting from him is that he's a little bit kind of like put on the spot and kind of a little suspicious of what's going on, but...
She's gonna take one of his hands into hers and try to in like a reassuring way and lean into him and say, we're not attacking you and no one is accusing you of anything. We don't really remember that night so well, and we're just looking for answers. A lot is going on, and maybe there's something there that would help. So if you know anything.
Look, all I know is, and I can't give you a play-by-play, so I can kind of give you what I know, and then if you have questions, maybe I can try to answer them, because like I said, I wasn't there, so I don't know the play-by-play of it all. But what I know is I got a message from a cutout from Carter telling me that he was coming into town with a group, and they were coming in for what they call a shovelhead party. So what the Sabbat will do when they want to just fuck around in the Camarilla City, they'll do what they call a shovelhead party, which is they will go around and embrace a bunch of people and just set them loose in the city, just to cause trouble. They call it shovelheads because they knocked them out with a shovel before embracing. Anyways, it's a long story, but they were coming in for a shovelhead party. I didn't get much more details about that, but what I did find out kind of in the aftermath was that the group that came in, the pack that came in, was very big for this kind of thing. What I picked up afterwards from chatter from that side and from the other side was that when the Scourge and the sheriff and the others showed up and interrupted what was going on at the cemetery where the rite was taking place, there were 4 newly embraced kindred who were not buried yet, and there were no graves dug for them.
Why would they?
And that was the 4 of you. So the grave thing is something the Sabbat does. There are various versions of it, but when the Sabbat create vampires, they want to strip any shred of humanity left in the person that they're turning. And there is a ritual called a creation rite that involves burying the newly created kindred alive in the dirt. And
but why wouldn't they bury us? Why wouldn't they dig graves for us? If they dug graves for everybody else, then why leave us separate? What was different about us?
I don't know. It makes no sense to me, other than for whatever reason they wanted you all to not be killed, because all of the other ones that were put in graves got killed summarily by the Scourge and the sheriff, because you don't take a chance with that. Now, the guy that Carter takes his orders from is a man named Santiago. He's a cardinal. It's a rank, like you get the prince. Sabbat's got cardinals and other things, bishops and what have you. They're just to make a mockery of the church kind of thing. And this particular Cardinal Santiago, he's in Detroit, and he's old and crafty. So I wouldn't be surprised that this was some sort of plan to get the 4 of you brought into the Camarilla, but if you were not agents of his to begin with, I don't know what there was to be gained by that. Like, you had no clue what was going on. You were not, it's not like you were undercover agents or anything. So I don't know specifically why you, I don't know if you were chosen specifically. I don't know if it was just random. I know the embraces were all random.
She's gonna glance to Cassie and then look back to Lee. Do you know anything about a Malkavian that was there?
Well, I know that Carter used to run with a guy called Samael.
Did he say his name, Cass?
I don't think he said his name right.
I think he did, actually. Hold on, let me go and check my notes. I don't know. I seem to recall that he did. I don't see a problem with him having said so, so you can
Okay.
go ahead and assume that he did.
Samael? Yeah.
What do you know
was the
about
name?
him, Lee?
Thank you, AD Indian Proud, for that donation of bits everyone gets. Another night move.
Treats.
Thank you very much. Treaties. What do I know about him? Sorry, was that a question?
Yeah. She asked Lee what he knew about him.
Look, Samuel's weird. I think he's been running with Carter for a long time, and I think a lot of it's taken a toll on him. He's not, for a Malkavian and a Sabbat, he's not too bad. He's just, he barks at the moon a lot. He's just kind of out there. He's a bit of a hippie. Lives in an RV in the middle of nowhere. Last I heard, he kind of, after the raid, so you got to understand that raid that they led here when they created you, that one, the Scourge and the Sheriff killed a whole bunch of that pack. Enough that, by all indication, Carter fucked off to Philadelphia for a long while after that. They killed a lot of them, and the others, from the chatter I was hearing, a lot of them were kind of PTSD'd by it. Like, I don't know, the stories I heard about that Nosferatu guy who came after them, like, some of them were, we're talking about hardened Sabbat vampires here, and they were messed up. They were fucked up. They were like, so last I heard, Samuel had kind of like pulled away from active duty and just kind of regressed into himself a little bit and just couldn't handle it anymore. I mean, he's, I wouldn't necessarily invite him home for dinner with the fucking parents, but
Said he wanted to make amends. Felt bad for not being there for me or something. I don't know.
are you thinking it's a trap? Is that what you're wondering?
No, I don't. I don't
Do you know
think
where
it
he
is.
is now?
Some RV park in New York. Liberty
Well,
something or other.
New York's just about is a Camarilla town, so if he's there, he's probably kind of hiding out. So, I mean, I don't know. I certainly wouldn't go and see him alone. But if answers are what you're looking for, well, first of all, you're probably not going to get any real coherent answers from him. But I'm pretty sure Malkavian answers make sense to a Malkavian. So.
Do our answers not make sense to any of you guys?
No, most of your Malkavian answers don't make sense. But it's okay. Like it's fine. Like it's nothing.
Most
Teddy
of the
shoots
Fangirl
him
answers don't make sense to me.
Teddy shoots him a glance like, I'll fucking cut you right now in front of everybody. I don't give a fuck who you are.
Vincent is giving the same look.
It's like, no, but like, like I always get what you're saying, Cassie. It's, you make sense. You're like, not like the others.
She's still glaring at him.
Whatever you say, Lee.
if you want to go see him, I can go with you.
I think we should all go.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I don't think when you have like a bad feeling about something, I don't really have a bad feeling. It was more just like confusion, and why he decided to contact me now.
I hope it's not bad, for your sake. But we should still all be there, whether he knows that or not.
Yeah.
I think you deserve time with him. If that's what you want.
I think it would be nice. I think the other Malkavians that I've spoken to, I think he's more like me.
I hope so. For you. You deserve
There's a lot
it.
about the other Malkavians you've met. Look.
Yeah.
So Vincent will back me up on this. Y'all are pretty young. You are just kind of learning what this new world you live in is like now. I think you're probably right now learning that there are way more things hidden in the darkness than you ever thought possible before. Even after you became the way you are now, I think you probably thought, oh, there's, all right, there's kindred to run around and drink blood. But what you have to understand is that our kind has been on this earth for as long as there have been humans, and even maybe beyond that. I don't know. I'm not a fucking nodist or anything, but there are really old, really, really bored kindred out there who have nothing better to do than to make moves against each other and use other kindred as pawns and engage in this kind of holy war amongst themselves that even they don't remember why it started. And it feels to me like you've unwittingly are pawns in that kind of story. And I think the best thing you can do in that case is to try and disappear and get out of it, because whatever reason the Cardinal had you selected and had you put in Chicago, he's not done with you, and it's much more complex and far-ranging than we can really ascertain, the group of us with our limited knowledge. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of afraid for you. I'm kind of afraid for a lot of you.
Your advice is always to run.
Whoever gave us these talents that we have as kindred gave us, and he points to you, Teddy, gave us the ability to meld into the earth, and the ability to turn into wolves, and the ability to run fast, and the ability to survive attacks and damage that would kill anybody else. We're made to survive. And my experience has been that leaning into that is always a good option when it comes to other kindred, especially when we start dealing with someone who's 500 years old, 1,000 years old. I don't know how old the fucking Cardinal is. How can you even try to comprehend the mind of someone who's been like this for 1,000 years old, or 2,000, however long he's been around? Like, you can't. It's never going to make sense, right? So you can't anticipate him. You can't outplay him.
Yeah, but last time I checked, a pack of wolves can take down an elk way easier than a single wolf. Just saying. You cut and run, but
you got
could take
balls,
him.
Vincent. You got balls, but you can't take on the Cardinal.
I think this is the first time that Vincent gets a genuine smirk from Teddy.
I deal in matters of the soul. There ain't nothing that this Cardinal can do. On top of that, what's he in charge of? Detroit? What a fucking shithole.
Well, theoretically, he's in charge of the Midwest, but that doesn't
The
matter to
sentiment
him.
sort of remains.
Doesn't matter to him. He's playing his own game. He's just here because it suits his purpose. Look, even as humans, you didn't choose your families, right? You were born. You didn't choose to be born. You didn't choose who had you. You didn't choose where you grew up or how you were brought up. You didn't choose any of that, right? You just did the best with what you had, right? And it's kind of the same thing here. You didn't choose to be turned. Now you're here. There's something in your blood now that's going to make you do things a certain way or see the world a certain way. Blood is powerful. It is very powerful. It is going to change you. But it's the same thing. You do what you got to do to get to the next night and get by and, you know, not waste it.
Yeah, but if we run now, then we're just gonna have to keep on running.
Yeah.
And what's the use of living forever if you're just in a constant state of fear?
It's a sad life.
Just take it under consideration, because I haven't seen everything that's out there, but I've seen enough to know I've seen too much. Take a guy like Carter. In the grand scheme of things, Carter is a small fry. Like, compared to someone like the Cardinal, he's a small fry. But even as a small fry, he's a fucking nightmare to someone like you and me. A complete nightmare. So multiply that by 100. And that's not counting who the Cardinal is playing against, because the Cardinal is not out there just fucking playing alone. Whatever moves he's making because there's somebody else in the area that's making counter moves. And very likely there's somebody else and somebody else. So it's not just him. There's someone else somewhere in the shadows. There's other people equal to him who are making these moves. And you're caught in the middle of it. And it's not a good place to be.
I don't think we're alone, though.
You also don't really have like a lot of friends and support in the Camarilla. That's something, if you're intent on sticking around and trying to make a go of it, you need to start making friends.
I have you. I have Mora.
Yeah. And I almost just got completely demolished by a 5'2" girl with severe mommy and daddy issues. So,
Yeah, because you decided to go at it by yourself. It takes a pack to take down an elk. Just keep thinking of that one, Lee.
I think you need to have a little bit more faith in us and your friends.
I mean, for
Oh,
fuck's sake, I can summon demons from the fucking void. What do you want?
it's not
Helena
like
has
they-
Hayden.
I don't know how Hayden will react to helping out you, Lee, but I think I can probably convince him.
Something tells me you might have a little bit of a hold on him.
What's the old adage? He worships the ground that I walk on.
It's a pretty good deal.
And you know who Hayden is, don't you, Lee?
Yeah.
I think you'll be okay.
Look, all I'm trying to say here is it can't rain all the time. Cheer up. We're all here together.
No amount of fucking kumbaya is gonna save you when the devil comes to town.
Well, whenever that is, at least I know I'm with my friends and the people I love. Not alone. Which is where I'd be if I was running.
He looks at you. Alright, fine, fuck it. Okay. It's fine. Fuck it, let's do it. Hey, turn the plane around. I'm going to Detroit. Kick some Cardinals' ass.
My plane, not yours. You go back to sleep.
I'm gonna go back to Adrienne Barbeau.
Yeah, push play on the movie. I need some Kurt Russell about now.
Oh, Kurt Russell. Yeah, you like that?
Yeah, I do.
My name's Lee. That doing something?
Stop that. And he throws a
stop
drink
that.
at him. He does. He straight up picks up a cup of ice and just throws it at him. Stop it.
I'll
Fucking
take care of the
stop it.
eyeball, Lee. Just
Oh
hold
my-
still, real
just-
good like.
He gets up and runs off to the front of the plane to watch the movie.
Never thought to collect eyes before, but I feel like the shop could do with some eyeballs.
I feel like that would be a pretty cool selling point.
Like in like the formaldehyde.
No, I would use something not from. I wouldn't use formaldehyde. Some other agent. Formaldehyde's horrible. You need an outtake.
I mean, you could
ventilation
just use
system.
isopropyl alcohol, honestly.
Yeah, but the isopropyl alcohol will make
If
everything
you
all
put it in like a
brittle.
green jello.
That's a thought.
That is a thought.
You know, Cass, I love the way your brain works.
I think I just saw it like in a movie one time. I don't know which one.
You're a fucking unicorn. Do you know that?
Truly, truly iconic. And I think
Oh, Legend. We should watch Legend. You have Legend?
Shut up, Lee.
I think Helena will sort of send another message to Hayden. Who's Santiago?
Which one?
The Cardinal.
Get that name out of your mouth. You fucking call the devil's name and he's gonna show up.
Who's he against?
Fucking the world.
Who wants it out for him bad enough?
I don't know. I mean, he's a high-ranking Sabbat official. The Cardinal now, I think. He probably has like more enemies than.
Who's his worst one? His
Oh, I
most
don't know.
feared enemy, you think?
I don't know.
Can you find out?
Oh God, I got shit to do. What's this
Please?
about, anyways?
I'm just curious. A little research, homework. See, you taught me so
Hold
good
on,
that I'm
hold
thinking on
I'm
my
calling.
own.
I'm calling.
Oh,
Fuck this
come on.
texting thing.
I don't know if you can call me right now. My service is really bad.
So, your phone rings.
Hey, no planes on the air. No phones on the airplane. No fuck with the instrumentation.
Hello?
All right. Wow, you're right. This sounds shitty. Where are you, in the tunnel?
Yeah.
What are you doing in the tunnel?
Lurking,
God, you really are
dancing,
a
doing
snake,
goth
aren't you?
stuff.
Are we gonna crash?
Is that Cassie?
We might.
No, it's actually a recording of Cassie that's so crazy. I'm in a tunnel alone.
You know, for a setup, you lie fucking horribly.
Hi, Hayden.
Hello. I think
Will
we're
you-
gonna crash.
Would you get
hang
off the
up?
fuck? We are on an airplane, sub. Would you please get the fuck off the phone?
I told you I had bad reception. I don't think that's really. I think that's really just a way for the airlines to sell you on like paying for their Wi-Fi. So I don't think that you'll actually crash.
I'm not willing to test it, Helena.
Can you just go back to texting me?
Sounds good. And he hangs up.
I didn't call him. I want it known.
But you answered.
Yeah, it's Hayden. He's cute.
He texts you back.
And,
Look,
and you're a cult leader?
I don't think anybody knows that.
He'll text back and say, "Look, I don't know, dude, how did his name come up?"
Just listen. Overheard a conversation. You don't need to know the details. It's not important. It's just me being curious.
Okay, well, he's a high-ranking member of the Sabbat. He is in Detroit. He runs the Midwest.
I know
and
that part.
He is a very scary motherfucker.
Are you scared of him?
Yeah.
Do you think you could take him?
No.
Oh. Not that I have plans of like threatening the Cardinal or the Sabbat in general, but I just thought I'd ask.
Hold on a sec. And then there's a pause. He doesn't text for a moment. You're on, like, you see the little 3 dots of him writing.
It's the worst. I fucking hate that.
And then that goes on for like 2 minutes, and then they disappear.
Text me back.
I'm typing. Jeez. And then he types back, it's like, I'll tell you this much. I know that the regent, Charlotte Rojas, does not like him, and it seems personal. She gets pretty fucking angry when I bring him up.
Good to know. I think as a reward.
You'll do that thing you do with your tongue?
No, she'll send him like a spicy pic, but it's one that she's for sure sent him before. She just rotates them.
She just throws a filter on it.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And just like a little XX. Thank you.
He writes back, I've never worked for so cheap before. XX.
People would pay big bucks for that on the OF, you know?
On the off?
OnlyFans.
I think she'll just message back, shut up, you don't love me, but you're really into me. And then she'll just turn her phone off.
Then you'll get back, are you in a plane?
Please turn her phone off. He gets back like a unsent.
Airplane mode.
Mm-hmm.
Vincent's gonna put out a text too, though. Although he's gonna send it to his mentor.
What does the text say?
Detroit, Santiago, ?
Cassie's feeling left out with everyone texting, so she's going to pretend to text, but she doesn't actually have anyone to text, so.
Teddy's feeling left out because Helena never got her a phone, so she's just watching everyone text.
Yeah, Lee's in there texting.
I forgore.
Wait. You still need a phone?
We're not there yet, Vincent.
Cassie, when you check your messages, you have a text.
I was just memeing. Okay. I opened the message.
It's from Cora. And he says, hi, Cassie. Sorry I haven't been in touch. Been out of town for work. Coming back in this weekend. It'd be great to see you and hang out and get a cup of whatever it is you drink these days. So, just let me know when you're free and I will text you when I get into town and we'll get together. I hope you're doing well. I'm doing okay. No stress, just work. But yeah.
It's very wordy. Cassie's going to text back. I'm on plane to New York. Smiley face, smiley face. We'll be back tomorrow? ? Talk soon. Love you. Bye. Smiley face.
The text doesn't send, but it'll send when you land.
I don't have Wi-Fi. I'm working on that 3G.
Does Cassie spell love L-U-V?
Yeah. And it's like love, like with the letter U. She's got to make that T9 work for her, okay?
She's just a cutie pie.
Everything's in shorthand.
Helena, you think maybe I could get a phone soon?
Oh my god, I fucking forgot. And she starts rummaging through her purse, and she's got like a little box it's got a cell phone in it. But it's like a real cell phone, like an Android or something, you know, not
Oh,
a
a
stupid
fancy
burner.
phone.
Yeah.
Pink. It's
I put-
pink.
It's pink.
Perfect. Reminds her of another lifetime.
Mhm.
But it's okay, because then I got this, and she got an otter box that's got camo on it.
Nice. Thanks, Helena.
It's like two worlds combined.
Am
When
I-
worlds collide.
Am I on
Best
your
of
plan?
both worlds.
Yeah, you're on my phone plan now?
Cool. Just let me know what I owe you every month. I'll throw some cash your way.
Okay. I just put it under the company name, so
She could write it off as a business expense.
yes, so don't worry about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's really nice. Thanks.
Oh,
Yeah.
and this company name is Snakes R Us.
No, it's Helena's Curios.
You already put your number in here?
No.
She just hands the phone. Just pass it around,
Yeah,
everybody.
she'll do hers, and then she'll do Cassie next.
Cassie's a little, she doesn't really like working with smartphones, so she's just going to hand it to
Okay.
Vincent for him to put it in.
Yeah, you do that.
Vincent, you can put yours in there too.
Don't worry, I'm putting it under asshole.
I wouldn't have done that, but okay.
That's more of something that Helena would put.
No,
This is true.
Vincent's number in my phone is just spaghetti, like an emoji of spaghetti.
Oh, because it's a
The
gabagool.
gabagool.
That's amazing. See, that's fucking funny.
Yeah.
He's just staring at Helena like, I will end you.
She goes back to the Stanley Kubrick stare.
Is there like a meatball emoji? Is that a thing? Can you put
Yeah.
can you make yourself a meatball emoji? She looks at Vincent.
Can you put me as like just like a smiley face, like the very pleasant smiley face?
No, I have you as the unicorn.
Oh,
I
can you
am
also
in
add a
New
smiley
York.
face?
Did you want me to put you as a smiley face? I'll put you as
Yeah.
a smiley face. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Have a nice day. That's ironic.
When you when you give Lee your phone number, like a couple seconds later, you get a ping from him, and it's a picture of him sitting next to you, looking a little sad, but it's like, so you can put that. You can put that from my phone number. Just so
Contact
you know
pics.
when I call you.
Oh.
And it's just
Okay.
him like looking exactly the way he looks right now.
She crops herself out. Just makes it his face.
He looks a little hurt.
Like super zoomed in on his
Yeah,
face.
super zoomed in on his face.
Uh-huh.
Just
He looks a little hurt when you do that.
Listen,
One day I'll trick
Cassie,
you into smiling.
I smile all the time.
Right.
Helena makes your contact photo for her this.
Cassie's is
should,
just from like a downward angle of her just smiling on the phone.
And the rest of the flight, it happens without incident of any sort. No one texts anyone anything. They're not supposed to text anyone. It's all good. You'll eventually land. When you land, you're at a small airport, again, outside of New York. The flight was very quick. I don't know how long it takes to fly from Chicago to New York on a private jet, but it's probably... All right, there you go. You will disembark. Again, you're in a little private airfield just outside the city, and when you arrive, there is a big kind of there is a Land Rover black with tinted windows that's idling there. There's also another couple of cars, smaller cars, BMWs there behind. When you step off the airplane, there's a couple of each of the cars is like a driver or whatever. They come over. If you have bags, they help you with that. Vincent, you know that the Land Rover is Ludovica, who would be in there if she's here. One of the guys comes to you and says, Mr. Giovanni, it's a pleasure to see you again, sir. Welcome back to New York.
So glad to be home. I cannot even express it. Please ensure that my friends are well taken care of. I gotta go see the lady.
The lady was actually wondering, are they all coming with you, or?
I mean, I would prefer it that they are guests of the family. However, some of them may decline.
Well, we have other cars here that were provided in case they would like to see to themselves, but it's up to y'all.
He like turns and kind of doing that scream over the wind of the frickin' of the airfield. 2 options. You can go on your own, vehicle provided, or you can come with me. Choice is yours.
I've got work to do. As much as I appreciate the offer, but
Yeah, I kind of promised I'd come along with Helena.
You ladies have fun.
Lee, you coming with us?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Sorry, I was just like, I love that film. So good. That music at the end when he's all like destroying the tape, and it's like doom, 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 doom. Okay.
Cass, are you going with Vincent?
Mhm.
Are you gonna be okay?
Yeah. And Teddy has a phone now, so I can text both of you if something bad happens.
Yeah, I can get you like a phone under the company plan. Right?
I don't want to. I know. I like my phone.
We'll find you later on. We can do the Sire thing.
Okay.
Whenever you're ready. No pressure, okay?
I'm not in a rush.
That's fine.
I'll take care of it.
So the 3 of you will head to one of the other cars, one of the BMWs. You have a driver who will take you wherever you need to go. The other 2, you will approach the Land Rover. You will, as you approach, the window will roll down, and you will see Ludovica, your mentor, Vincent, a good-looking young woman with black hair, dressed in very, very elegant, but still kind of not too corporate-looking suit with a blazer and a black blouse. It's opened down a little bit. She has a crucifix around her neck. Otherwise, no other jewels or anything. The inside of the car is very dimly lit, and you don't hear anything except the sound of the motor running. And as you approach, she says, "Vincent, you look the worse for wear. Is Chicago not treating you well?"
Nah, I can't really say that it well, and he kind of looks over his shoulder at Cassie for a moment. It's got
Have you mentioned Cassie to Ludovica?
Oh, of course.
Okay. Oh, Cassie. Well, it's a pleasure to meet you. And she opens the door. Please, come in.
She don't bite.
You climb into the back of the SUV with her, and she's looking at you kind of intently. She's like, Vincent has told me a lot about you, Cassie.
Like what?
Oh, it says you're very nice, you're very kind, you're very intelligent. You are studying in university, I hear.
Mm-hmm. Getting my a doctorate now.
Oh, that's very impressive, Cassie.
Thank you.
You know, Vincent's very smitten with you.
Cassie sort of leans back a little. And if she could blush, she probably would at this point, and there's a little smile on her face.
Vincent just looks at Ludo, just like,
Well, now that we've broken the ice, let's head back to the house. Vincent and I have a little bit of business to discuss, but then we can get acquainted, Cassie. And as the truck starts to roll, she leans back and looks at you, Vincent, and says, "She's not haunted at all. In fact, they're staying away from her. They're afraid of her. They want nothing to do with her. She scares them."
we've got to make it right.
I don't know that we can, but she leans forward and gently taps your hand, Cassie, and goes, we'll see what we can do for you, young lady.
Okay. Sure.
It's spooky stuff, baby.
Oh,
Spooky stuff.
got it.
Well,
Not
we'll try to
haunted.
make it
That's
not-
fun.
No, you're not haunted.
Not a
There's
ghost
this
either.
very large space around you that they won't come near.
Oh, it's like my personal bubble.
Yeah, something
But
like
you
that.
don't want that personal bubble when it comes to spirits. I know it sounds weird, but that's not what you want.
Okay.
Cassie, have you ever died before? I mean, before this? Have you ever had a near-death experience?
Well, I was a pretty active drug user. So, yes, multiple times, in fact.
Okay. All right. Well, enjoy the ride. It's not very far to the house. We'll get into all of that a little later. It's
Great.
a pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you, too. And I just sort of send Vincent like a, I don't know what I just got myself into. Look.
He literally takes her hand for a moment, squeezes it, and just smiles. Like with that, it'll be okay.
Narrator's voice. It wasn't okay. And on that note, we are going to take a break here as they all travel to their various destinations. Thank you, everyone, for hanging out with us. So many people in chats. Love seeing all your boy Big's in there. I saw Rajita's in there. I saw Dungeon Mr. Ty. Everybody hanging out with us. We truly appreciate you all. Thank you very much for being here with us. We're going to take a short break. We'll be back in a few minutes. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you soon. Thank you so much. Speaking of mods, wanted to say thank you to Raven Sarah, who has been modding for us and has been absolutely amazing doing that. Thank you so much, Raven. We really appreciate you helping out with all the chat stuff and being engaged and talking to people and being awesome. So thank you very much, Raven Sarah, for all that good stuff. My friends, you've landed in the Big Apple. On the way to wherever you're going, Vincent wants to stop at like about 10 different places to get something to eat, which Ludo tells him he's getting fat in Chicago, so he's not allowed to eat any of them. You kind of went your separate ways, and eventually I'll play that song for Kurt live on Twitch, just because he deserves it. You went your separate ways with Cassie and Cassie and Vincent going with Ludovica, who is the mentor of Vincent, and Lee going with Helena and Teddy to some meeting that Helena has in her back pocket. Helena, you don't know too much about this meeting. All you know is that you're meeting a man called Bogdan. And Bogdan, you've got an address for him. You weren't told much more. You were basically, you know that you're expecting some shipment that's coming in from Bangladesh, and that Bogdan was the broker who was bringing it in, and he has somehow kind of started hemming and hawing about it. Bahari figures that he wants more money, he wants something, but she's asked you to go down there and sort this out, and that's what you're gonna do.
I have a question, Bleak.
Yeah.
Do I know if Bogdan is kindred or not?
You do not know.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, actually, during the phone call that you got from Bahari, she said that he wasn't kindred, but he was very dangerous.
Excellent.
You drive down. When you pull up to the address that you were given, it's some kind of like cultural center or something, you know, like one of those low one-floor buildings that's got some frost fence around it, and it's like, you know, bingo and community events and things like that. It's like a community center sort of thing. There's one guy dressed in tracksuit, and it's not your ex-husband, but he's leaning up against the door and smoking a cigarette. He's got that, Eastern European short hair, tracksuit, smoking like filter. yeah, you think he would totally be your style. He's got tattoos. He's like kind of everywhere. He's very skinny.
Does he look a little sad?
Well, he looks like he's been in prison in Russia, so if that makes you look sad. And the guy who's driving your thigh bones.
I think she might be having some issues. She's thinking about that sad boy. Give her a minute.
You okay, Bones?
I'm trying to be discreet and quick about it. I'm sorry. Am I good? Am I back?
Yeah, you're back.
Sorry. It's
all right.
Storms.
Yeah, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay. So the driver of the BMW looks over his shoulder at you and goes, you sure this is where you want to come?
Yeah, did I stutter?
No, I'm just saying. Dangerous place or... No, okay. But I'm just
fine.
saying.
I assure you. Thank you very much. And I think she'll tip him awkwardly. She'll just give him a 20.
He'll he's like, no, it's fine. Don't worry about it. Taken care of.
I feel weird not giving you money. Can you just take this money?
Sure. Takes it. Puts it in his pocket.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, no problem. How much did you give him?
20.
There you go.
That's like a gallon of gas in New York.
Lee's like, you need me to go in there with you?
No, just stick out here and I got my phone. She holds up her fancy new phone. If we need you.
Did you put it in the case?
Yeah, just if there's a problem,
It's in the case.
just text me 911. But don't do the star before because that's going to call 911. You don't want those guys showing up.
Right. I'll just text you.
Okay.
I don't know if we need codes for this. I think a simple help would probably do the job. I don't know. Try not to look too sad while you're out here. Think of a happy thought.
He looks at the driver. Do I look sad? Or look? Yeah, buddy, you look like.
Like a wounded animal.
Opens the mirror and.
Like a kicked dog.
Well, maybe I have reasons to be sad.
Okay, well, think of a happy thought.
I'll
Dig
think
deep.
about it. I'll think about it. The two of you walk up towards the front door of the community center. You see in the back there are a bunch of old Jeeps and a couple of Mercedes parked. Good evening, ladies. I'll help you.
I'm looking for somebody I'm supposed to meet named Bogdan.
What's your name?
Helena.
I think Bones said Helena, but she's frozen, so we'll wait for Bones to return to us, live and well.
I don't think she's in Kansas anymore.
No, or she is in the house and everything.
Oh, I hope no one dropped a house on her. She's one of my favorite witches.
Yeah, but you could take her socks.
But which wicked witch is she?
She doesn't wear socks. What are you talking about? This is Bones.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Her feet is stankin'.
Yeah.
Bone toes must range freely.
We had to take her pickle.
They gotta grip everything.
Sorry, guys. There's a lot of storms in Virginia.
It's okay. It's okay. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's all good.
Okay.
We were just talking about your toes.
Yeah. Oh, very good. Thank you. But yeah, she's like 20.
All right, you stay here. I'll go check with the boss. And he turns around and goes inside. And the two of you are still left standing there in a quiet neighborhood in the middle of fucking nowhere in New York. And you're just standing there on the front steps of this community center. It's kind of weird.
I think Teddy's kind of taking in the scenery, taking in some big whiffs of the air, anything out of character.
Well,
Maybe
go
just little
ahead.
dead
And,
bodies.
yeah, so go ahead and give me it'll be a perception and a give me a perception and a alertness, and you can use your acute sense.
So I get a +2 for that, right?
That's right.
All right, let's go. What's my target?
Target is going to be 6.
All right, so
It's usually 6 unless there's some major thing that kind of affects it. So that's kind of like, that's why I'm always saying 6. It's because it's kind of the default target.
that is 3 successes. Would have had 4, but I rolled a 1.
Okay. 3 successes, excellent. There's a faint smell of pot. You get a smell of boiled cabbage and wet dog,
Oh.
and it's pretty strong.
Ugh. God. So, do you know what it is we're here to pick up exactly?
Bahari never specified, correct?
Nope.
Okay.
It just knows a package.
A package for Bahari.
Oh,
And I think Helena knows that it's for the temple, if I recall correctly. And
Yeah.
she's a little bit weird about answering. I think that would be noticeable enough to.
mm-hmm. You know, you don't have to tell me things, but whatever it is, your secret's safe with me. And I just want you to know that.
I think Helena smiles at you. But it's insincere and it's masking sort of anxiety. Yeah, I appreciate that, you know. And I just got a lot of stuff I gotta like figure out, you know.
Yeah.
Weird shit. It's weird being a Seti. It's you know. It's weird.
Can only imagine.
I feel weird.
You're the outcast of the outcasts, right?
Yeah, do you ever just like feel like your flesh isn't good enough? Like you kind of want to crawl out of it and assume a new form? And I think there's a little bit of there's something in Helena's eyes I think they recognize as odd.
You know, this might sound kind of weird, but I know exactly what you're talking about. I learned some new things.
Yeah, okay.
On the road, and I haven't really told anyone yet or showed anyone, because the first time it happened, it was kind of jarring, honestly. But so I can turn into a coyote?
That's fucking cool.
It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. What?
Do you like to be pet as a coyote?
I mean,
Just wondering.
she's like trying to think if she's ever let anyone pet her. Oh, you know, Lee scratched me behind the ear once, and that was kind of nice. So I don't think I would really mind it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you like?
I have
Get
like my
people?
own pack and everything.
What the fuck? That's awesome. That's awesome. That's great, Teddy. That's awesome. That's great for you. And you think there is a genuineness behind this, and I think Helena is smiling again. Yeah. All right. Rock on, man. That's cool shit. That's weird, but
You
it's
wanna-
cool.
Crawl out of your skin and turn into something? Can you? I kind of feel like anything's possible right now, honestly. It's weird, but
No, I can't, and I don't necessarily want to turn into something else. I just want to be something else.
like is this like a physical thing or like an existential thing? Like,
Do you ever wonder where the limit is?
I feel like I'm afraid to ask that question. 'Cause right now it feels like there isn't one.
I know. That's the best part about this whole thing, Teddy. Is yeah, there's some inconveniences to being kindred, whatever that fucking means. But there's no limit.
Ladies, the boss will see you now. Come on in. Wipe your feet. Don't trail the mud in here. Wipe your feet, please. Thank you.
Yeah, wouldn't
I
want it to
imagine,
smell like mud on top of cabbage and wet dog. She like mutters under her breath and walks inside behind Helena.
Helena's agreeing, and I think it's quintessential for Helena to be wearing these big creepers, and when she wipes them, she like does a big stomp with her feet, and then stomp, and then slide.
You walk inside the darkened community center, and as you do that, across the city, in a very nice, very old school mansion, not too ostentatious, but just kind of a nice place, secluded a little bit behind wrought iron gate fence with some little bit of trees and whatnot. You've pulled up to Ludovica's home. You've followed her inside. Cassie, you've been directed, if you need it, to the restroom. If you need to do whatever, wash your face or whatever it is that you would want to do, and you kind of get the sense that Ludovica's just kind of angling for a moment alone with Vincent for a few seconds, and she says she introduces you to one of the major domos of the house, and she says that he will, if you need to, go to the restroom to redo your makeup or touch up or whatever, and then he will take you to the drawing room, and they will join you there presently.
Cassie just sort of like stares at him like,
It's okay.
do you guys have like records or anything?
Oh, I'm sure that they'll fix you up with whatever you need, sweetheart.
Okay.
Absolutely. Johnny, take Miss Cassie here to the drawing room and make sure the record player is available to her.
Show her the Sinatra collection.
You like Sinatra, Cassie?
I like all kinds of music.
So he will guide you off into a separate room, and as you watch her go, eventually Ludovica will turn to you and go, "Why a Malkavian? You know they're crazy, right?"
She reminds me of Sarah.
You know, now that you mention it, yeah, probably never say that to her though.
No, she knows about Sarah.
I'm playing with fire.
Well,
Just saying.
yeah,
You know what happened with that one.
that was a mistake, and it won't ever happen again, and I will spend the rest of eternity correcting that mistake.
Fair enough. Walk with me for a moment. She will take you out back through the gardens. There are a bunch of old Roman-like statues that line this little walkway with poplars. There's nice little recessed lighting. It's beautiful. It's quiet.
So, I'm told you felt it.
Yes. Who were you with when it occurred?
Luca?
Was it Luca? The report that I got was that Luca was very impressed with your ability. He expected to have to take care of the situation himself and wanted to teach you a little bit of humility by letting you do it and failing, but then you actually succeeded. So he was kind of impressed. And so when I heard that the house in Chicago was impressed, I looked into it. And Vincent, did you try to summon the soul of a Bali?
I didn't know at the time that's what it was. It wasn't until we actually had a hold of it and pulled it back from the shroud that I knew what it was. But at that point, it was a get in our questions before the chain breaks. It was a risk. I recognize that. It was a risk. I recognize that. I truly do. But we needed
That's
answers.
fine. I mean, empires are built on risk. My question is more to the point of why such a risk with a group of non-family members?
That's partially what I would like to talk to you about.
Well, no time like the present.
So I was under direct orders from the Primogen. And I won't say the character's name because I keep fucking it up and Creep keeps yelling at me about it. And, well, I was told to be as cooperative as possible to help figure out what the problem was and the disturbance in Chicago. I personally don't feel like we made a whole lot of headway, but there's something going on with these girls. Something spanning a few cities.
A few cities.
Yeah. Apparently there's something going on out of Detroit. Something to do with some Sabak Cardinal, Santiago. He's got a hand in this. The Prince of Chicago is, he's real interested, or she's real interested in these particular individuals. And there's something. And he leans in real close to Ludo. Something is watching Cassie. I swear on my mother, there was this light almost peering over her shoulder and made words of like claiming her. But she's a void. There's no souls around her. Well, none that I can see, at least.
No, I didn't see any either. Do you know the myth of Achilles?
The heel? Yeah, what about it?
Well, the whole heel thing came about because Achilles' mother, who could not stand the thought of him getting injured, grabbed him as he was a baby and dipped him into the river Styx.
Yeah. And she had to hold him by the heel. Yeah, I get it.
That's right. But the parts of his body that came into contact with the river Styx, because the river Styx is the river of the dead, he came away tainted with the underworld.
Yeah, he was immortal for all intents and purposes. He couldn't be killed.
Cassie is somewhat like that in that I feel she has come in contact with the other side. She's been somewhere where the veil is extremely thin and has imprinted itself on her.
Okay.
The spirits and ghosts, as you know, are attracted to things that have life force in them, like moths to flames. They do not hang around Cassie because, for all intents and purposes, they simply believe her to be dead. They believe her to be a ghost.
But she's not.
No, but it's as if she was dipped in the river and came away smelling like the river.
Then how do you explain the possession?
I don't think it is a possession.
What do you think?
I don't know. I'd have to see it in action, but within the parameters that we're dealing with here, I don't think any ghost would approach her. I think whatever is happening to her comes from inside of her, maybe something in her blood, but it's not coming from the outside.
So what do I do? I can't lose her too. So
Well, we'll go and talk to her. We'll go and talk to her in a minute, and I'll see if I can understand a few things.
there's a
Yeah.
Oh.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say there's another thing that's not sitting too well with me.
Which is?
Listen, I know we were quote unquote handpicked to go out to Chicago to go help this asshole. But here's the question. Why is he prancing around like some sort of hoity-toity Ventru? He's acting like the Blue Bloods, living in an ivory tower. Thinks he's got a grasp on everything, but really doesn't. I mean, like, it seems like Luca knows more about what's going on in that city than he does. And he had the nerve to call me ugly. Me. He called me ugly.
You are right, Vincent, in that you were handpicked, but not for the reasons that you think, not by the people that you think. We wanted someone we could trust there to tell us exactly what was going on with Attias Giovanni.
Like, his name means malice. Does that not bother anybody?
I mean, vampire's kind of vampire.
I don't trust him. I mean, I know that I'm from New York, and we do things a certain way, and they do things a certain way, and I understand that. But he's not. We're not a bunch of blue bloods. We're outsiders. We stay outside for a reason, and he's trying his hardest to be among the fucking ivory tower pricks. Like, why? What's the point of that? Why?
Everything he's doing is a front for something else. Have you ever heard, Vincent, of Lazarus, and not the Lazarus from the Bible, but Lazarus, the child of Cappadocius?
Yeah. Didn't, not to put too fine a point on it, but didn't we eat him?
No. Lazarus escaped. He was sleeping for a long time in Egypt. Rumors are that he has awakened or is on the verge of awakening. Angelique in Egypt watches over him.
Is that why the shroud's so thin?
And that could be part of it. But there's something else of importance about Lazarus. And it has to do with our friend in Chicago. You were handpicked, Vincent. You were chosen. But not by the Chicago Giovanni. You were chosen by our people because your blood comes straight from Lazarus.
Well, that's fucking news.
Let me tell you, Vincent,
Yeah.
about a woman named Severa. Meanwhile, inside the mansion, Cassie, you have been set up. You got records, you got the record player. The guy who's setting you up asks you what kind of records you would like. He brings you samples of like a bunch of different things.
Well, I mean, when in New York, you gotta play some Frank Sinatra, I guess.
You put on some Frank Sinatra, the Capitol Records, fresh, mint, first edition printings, beautiful sound coming out of the record player.
I think the song in particular she chooses is Ain't She Sweet.
And as the dulcet tones of Ain't She Sweet echo through the room, you notice you're not alone. There is a man standing in the corner of the room. He is a little older, dressed in black. His hands are behind his back. And he's just standing there, waiting, looking at you.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm Cassie.
Pleasure to meet you, Cassie. I'm Silvio.
Sylvia.
I'm
Are
at
you,
your service.
I am at yours. And she like bows a little bit.
You are a very well-mannered young lady.
Thank you. My mother would smack me if I was not.
Are you enjoying the records?
Yeah, they're really nice. Really nice condition. Crisp sound.
Mm-hmm. He comes over and picks up the album cover and flips it over. I always like these. Always kind of adds to the experience to be able to look at the pictures and read the words in the liner notes and the lyrics as you listen to the song. So much better than whatever young people listen to today with their little gadgets and the electronic music on it, don't you find?
Cassie kind of pulls out her Walkman. I have this, but that's it.
That's very nice. Takes it, looks at it, gives it back to you. It's very, very nice, Cassie. Would you like to sit with me for a moment?
Sure. What's my vibe of this guy?
It's very strange because he's kind of like not given any vibes. He's kind of like just there. He's not, doesn't feel threatening. He doesn't feel, he's kind of just there.
Okay. Yeah, I'll go sit with him. Very like spine straight, hands in my lap.
A friend of Vincent's. Am I correct?
Yeah.
How did you two meet?
In a graveyard?
Seems fitting. What were you doing in a graveyard, young Cassie?
I was at visiting my my mother.
Now what's she doing?
I mean she's dead, so I guess not super great.
Well, I don't know. Some of the dead people I've talked to quite enjoy their afterlives.
I mean I haven't really asked.
Well, you should.
Vincent had offered to contact her. I don't think I'm ready for that.
Well, that's understandable.
It's too final.
Well, you could choose to look at it differently. You could choose to look at it as opening up a line of communication, opening a door. It could be the beginning of something.
Or the ending.
Well, sometimes it's hard to tell one from the other. If you look at a door, there's two sides, but it's difficult to tell which side is which. You have to go through each side.
I guess so.
Are you afraid of what she might say?
I think it's more what she won't say.
How so?
I'm a different person than when she knew me.
Well, I think parents expect their children to grow up and to change.
Probably not this drastically, I would expect.
Oh, you mean the whole being a vampire thing?
Yeah, that's probably like I mean she wanted me to become like a doctor and stuff.
Yeah, it's not quite the same thing.
No, I mean I'm still gonna get my doctorate and everything. That's happening. The whole vampire thing definitely puts a little bit of a damper on most things in life.
Well, I think it's also a matter of point of view. For example, in the family here, in the family that Vincent is part of, the Giovanni family, it's quite a family affair to be embraced and be vampires. It's a very complex procedure, but it is a family affair. People are very proud to see their progeny be embraced and go on to achieve great things. I think that all that might matter to your mother, especially once she realizes she is a ghost who is speaking to you, would be that you're on your way to becoming a doctor. I think that would please her.
Yeah, I guess I really don't have to mention the whole vampire thing.
Plus, she'll be a ghost, so who is she to point fingers?
True.
The dead, Cassie, have only one power over us. And that is the power that we give them, the power of memories and how we choose to remember them.
Don't like ghosts haunt people though?
Sometimes. But
Ghosts possess people?
it's been known to happen. But you're friends with someone who is quite adept at making ghosts do what he wants them to, so I don't think that you're in trouble with that.
Spooky.
The thing about ghosts, Cassie, is they miss us. They miss us. They miss this world. They miss what it has to offer, and sometimes they just want to be seen and remembered. And to be acknowledged. And perhaps that's all your mother really is waiting for.
Cassie, she's very rigid at this point. The more discussion about ghosts that sort of goes on. Well, I guess I have to try it before I say no to it, right? Try everything once.
Well, perhaps not crack cocaine, but...
I already did that.
Oh, well, then you're ideally suited to try anything else in this world. At least once. How did that work out for you? Yeah. It's not a great thing.
I mean, I ended up here probably because of it, so... I realized that my drug usage is probably a direct correlation to me being embraced, now that I think about it.
Well, that depends whether or not you believe in fate.
Don't do drugs, kids.
Don't do drugs, kids. I think those are pretty good words to live by. Would you mind turning the record over? I believe it's done.
Oh, she'll lean forward.
And as you do that, across the city, in some cultural center, somewhere in Brighton Beach, you walk in, and it's big empty space where they probably hold, like, you know, dances and things of that nature. At the back, there's a long table. There are a bunch of men sitting there. They all look kind of like the guy at front. Some of them are fatter, some of them are thinner, but they all kind of got the tracksuit look and the Eastern European criminal look. They're all sitting around the table, smoking, playing cards. They don't even look up. When you come in, the guy leads you. You go through into what would be the kitchen area. You can see that there's like cabbage soup that's boiling on the stove. He opens a door, sees stairs leading down. He goes down, leaves the door open behind him. Goes down into the basement. The smell of wet dog gets stronger as you go further down into this basement. You eventually come out into an area that has on one side sort of like the furnace, the boiler, you know, things like that nature. And then on the other side, it's got this beautiful marbled floor. It's got this big ostentatious desk. There are a couple of cabinets with booze in them. There are a bunch of different weird ass shit everywhere. It's kind of like Helena's shop, but like on steroids. And like there's just a bunch of weird occult, arcane, strange, grotesque things all around. Like you're in, you know, fucking Guillermo del Toro's boudoir, you know, kind of thing. Things floating in liquid and whatnot. There's one man in a fairly nice looking suit, but he looks kind of like, you know, pretty brutish. He's got the big forehead, very square shoulders. He's sitting very kind of like man spreading, and he's got a cigarette. And coming out of the other end of the room, wearing only boxer shorts that look made of silk and a towel around his neck, and looking like he's just come out of a sauna or something. He's like drenched in sweat. He's got this short hair with a very neatly trimmed beard. He walks in with the towel. Yeah, Helena, from Chicago, right? I'm Bogdan. Come on in. And that smell of wet dog just hits you right in the face, Teddy, as he walks in from the steam room that he was in. He walks over. Sorry.
The guy in the boxers is Bogdan?
Yeah.
Got it.
He walks over to his desk. He takes a pair of sunglasses, these little brown round sunglasses, puts them on. Then he takes a silk bathrobe that's there. He slips it on, leans down, does a line of Coke off the side of the desk, grabs a bottle of vodka, pours around the shots. Ladies drink, and he pushes a couple of glasses up to the front of the desk.
I think Helena will go up to the desk and she'll look at Teddy and sort of shrug. To her health.
Teddy looks at these shots and, yeah, I'm not a big drinker, sorry.
Oh, no problem. I'll drink it. No worries. He slams one and then takes yours. Looks to Helena.
To her health.
Salute.
Salute. And she'll knock it back.
Oh.
Does it taste like anything different for Helena since being embraced?
Is what?
Does it taste anything? Is there a different taste since being embraced?
So theoretically, in vampire, you're not supposed to be able to eat or drink unless you take the merit for it. But I kind of, in my world, vampires can eat, drink, and fuck just like normal human beings.
Okay.
It's just magic. Just deal with it. But yeah, it can't do the same. However, if you wanted it to be different, you could. Like, it's basically up to you how food and drink affect your character is basically up to you as well.
More potato-y.
More potato-y.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
He sits down. So, Bahari sent you.
She did. She'll sit. Is there a chair across from him?
Yeah, there are a couple chairs in front.
She'll scooch the chair up real close to the desk and sit down. She did. How do you know Bahari?
Oh, we've done business before.
I see. You've got something for her.
I do. He opens up a drawer and he puts this little earthenware jug that's sealed with beeswax. It's got no markings or anything on it. It's just like about this size, sealed on top. He puts it down in front of him.
So, what's the issue?
It's no issue.
Okay.
Just I wonder if you could maybe do me a little favor. And I'm not going to charge you more for this. You can take it and go, and that's fine. But I'd like a little favor.
What's that?
Let me show you something. And he gets up and he walks over. You see that behind his desk on the wall, there's this vast tapestry, and it's got like this kind of strange hellish scene in it, almost kind of like a painting by what's his name? Crikey, just because I want to say his name, the Dutch painter who did like
Dante's Inferno.
Like Bosch, I think is his name. Yeah, Hieronymus Bosch. It's like a Hieronymus Bosch painting.
Okay.
With all sorts of weird things kind of going on, all that. And at the center of it, at the central image of this tapestry is this well. And out of this well are 3 figures that are climbing out of it. And there are 2 male figures that are clear and distinct. And in the back, there is another figure that is very hard to tell whether it's male or female. And it's kind of shadowy, that are crawling out of this well. And there's blood and body parts everywhere around this well. And there's dead bodies everywhere. Just a hellish fucking scene. But he gets up and he walks over. And he looks over at Teddy. He's like, you can look around. If there's anything you like or interests you, let me know.
She's already been doing this.
Okay.
She's like staying in earshot, but doing the like, I'm gonna pretend like I am not here experiencing this and just walking around staring at all this stuff.
He goes over, there's like a little pedestal and there's something like a sculpture or something. There's like a little cloth over it. He's like, may I show you this? It's very special and it's very, very rare.
She'll get up and she'll walk over to him.
And he pulls the cloth off and you see this very strange sculpture. The sculpture appears to be kind of the bust of a wolf. And out of this wolf's mouth is a snake that is coming out of the mouth as if the wolf is vomiting. And then the snake is coming out of the mouth and it's wrapping around the wolf and wrapping around the wolf's throat. And their head is kind of rearing up. And part of the wolf in the back in the sculpture, it looks like his skin is molting and you can see bone underneath the flesh. When he reveals the statue, you become incredibly entranced by it. There's something about it that grabs you and just sinks really deep into you. You don't know what it is. There's just this strange kind of magnetic force about it. As you stare at this statue, you start getting images again that you've seen before. Chief among them, you see this image of Bahari on her knees on the ground in front of you with a collar around her neck, but instead of a chain, it's this snake that has bitten her right in the center of the throat, and you're holding the tail end of the snake. It's wonderful, isn't it?
I think she very slowly looks up at Bogdan and says, "What is this?"
You like it? It came to me from Chicago, actually, a few years ago.
How many years ago?
Ten, 11 years ago, maybe.
Oh, okay. I don't know how to explain this. And I'm not one to show my cards to somebody like you. But I think I need that statue there.
Well, that's very interesting because the favor I would like you to do for me is simply to bring this back to Chicago, where it belongs.
What curse is on this thing that you're not telling me about?
None that I know of.
Can I?
You can absolutely investigate. Give me
Yeah.
an intelligence and occult roll.
Okay.
I think if you were to look back at Teddy right now, she is looking at this statue in fucking horror. Like, just kind of glancing out from a shelf like, holy shit.
What the fuck? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. What's my target?
For this, I'm going to say 7.
Okay, I've got 2 successes. Can I actually, you know what? Can I use one of my many night moves?
Well, don't, because
Okay.
it'll be wasted because there's just no way for you to know what this is, but I will
Sure.
tell you
Yeah.
things about it.
Yes. Okay.
The main thing that comes to mind when you're looking at it, you have read through like some of the stuff that Hayden has shown you and whatnot, especially when you were talking a lot about corruption and things of that nature, and you were kind of curious about that and the powers of the Sedite. And you were talking to Hayden a lot about that. He talked about the various forms of corruption. That's when he talked about the Bali and things of that nature. But he also talked about something else. He talked about something called the worm, and he was clear that it was spelled W-Y-R-M. And he talked about how there are other creatures out there, not kindred, other creatures that believe that there is a force of corruption in the world called the worm, and that part of what's happening with the environment, anything that has to do with like oil spills and things of that nature are things that are created by the worm, and that the worm is basically this entity or this power that is all about the corruption of nature and things of that nature. And as you watch this statue, it kind of reminds you of certain things that Aiden had told you about the worm, the way it's wrapped around the wolf, the way the wolf seems to be rotting or kind of falling apart. And then you realize the snake is not really a snake per se, it's more of a snake-like creature. But you smell corruption, you get that scent, that smell of corruption that feels so sweet to you, emanating from it. This was taken from Chicago a while back, and it's found its way here by hook and by crook. But I kind of feel like it should go back to where it came from. It should go back to where it belongs. I'm not gonna lie, it's messing with my shit here a little bit too. But,
How well do you know Bahari?
well enough to know that this is the kind of thing that would tickle her.
That was my hope.
Mm-hmm.
Bogdan, can I ask you sort of a personal question?
Sure, why not?
Do you have some sort of contract with Bahari on finding her these things?
No, it's, she tells me what she needs. If I come across it, I tell her the price. If it works out, it works out.
I see. What do you feel about undercutting?
What do you have in mind? And on that note, Vincent, you're walking back towards the house. You can hear Sinatra playing through the windows of the study. You can see Cassie sitting down talking to someone, listening to music. And as you're walking, Ludovica is saying, Atias is obsessed with something he thinks is sleeping underneath Chicago, perhaps a Methuselah or something of that nature. And that's his true goal. He is trying to uncover that. There are certain people in the family in Venice that believe in him and are interested in seeing what he can find out. But there are those of us who believe that his obsession may be the undoing of the whole family. We think it might be time for some of us to extricate ourselves from our connection to them. And I'm bringing this up to you because you were carefully chosen. Your sirage from your mentorship with me through the actual person who sired you. We come from a very prestigious bloodline. We've felt the need to hide ourselves among the others for some time. But our blood, the one in your veins, the one in mine, comes straight from Lazarus. And like Lazarus before us, we have no intentions of being present at the Feast of Folly. We believe it's time to make ourselves known and separate ourselves from the rest of the family, those who follow the usurper rather than the true founder of our bloodline.
So what does that mean for me?
There will be a time soon where you will have to choose where your loyalties lie, whether it is with the greater family or whether it is with your blood. And that choice will be yours to make. I talked about a woman named Severa earlier. Severa was a child of Lazarus. She found a long time ago in a temple in Constantinople a scroll It was an excerpt from The Seeds from the Twilight Garden, a book about the revelations of the Dark Mother. Severa was able to pursue and develop her own path of necromancy, the path of the Twilight Garden. She, as you approach, there's a couple guys in this little gazebo thing. There's like a, wrought iron table with some chairs, and she picks up a bunch of folded old parchment wrapped in oilcloth. She hands it to you. You should read it. You should learn it. And when the time comes, decide where you want to stand. She hands you the packet.
I only have one question. If I choose the blood over the family, will the blood protect those closest to me?
Family is family. Blood is blood. The one that runs in your veins comes directly from Cappadocius. Our bloodline is the true bloodline. We would be remiss in our duty if we were to act like the usurpers and not care for those the ones in our true family care for.
That's all I needed to know.
Read this, study it, keep tabs on Atius. Tell us what he's up to. He's up to some dangerous game with whatever it is that's sleeping beneath Chicago. Anything you can find out about it would be useful. And we'll keep you up to date on what's being decided and what's happening on our side here.
What about the others I went with? Are they trustworthy with the information that you're imparting upon me?
You mean your friends?
No. They'll know what they need to know. I mean, the other family members. Or is this
the only one? The only one you might be able to rely on is Luca. But like you, Luca is undecided exactly where he will stand, so keep that in mind.
Right, so I don't tell him shit for now.
Let's go see your friend. The spirits, when they talk about your friend and their fear of her, they call her the Madonna. Does that mean anything to you?
The Madonna? Doesn't ring a bell. I mean,
Well, let's ask her. Oh, not Silvio again.
what?
She kind of starts booking for. She doesn't run, but she like starts walking faster. Cassie, you're turning the record over when the doors open up. The big French doors kind of open up, and Ludovica walks in, and she goes, "Silvio, we've talked about this. You know you're not supposed to approach anyone who comes to this house without asking for permission." And he's like, I was simply wanted to speak with this young lady. She seemed so nice, and so we've been having a lovely chat, have we not? Silvio,
What the fuck is this guy?
when you approach, you realize it's a ghost.
Oh. Right.
We were talking.
To a ghost.
Just,
A what?
oh, I'm sorry, dear. I guess I should have told you. I'm a ghost. Yes, I'm Ludovica's uncle, Silvio. I passed away a long time ago.
Oh, that's why you don't like technology. Got it.
But I do like Frank Sinatra, and I think you're a lovely, lovely girl. And I simply wanted to speak with you a little bit to ease the passing of time.
It was nice to talk to you. Sorry if I came across hesitant to do so.
Oh, no, it's quite normal. Take care of yourself.
You too.
I will. And he smiles and he gets up and he's like, Ludo? Vincent? And she goes, get out of here. He's like, yes, I'm leaving. And he walks away and he
really
walks through the
nice.
wall and he disappears. He's not supposed to talk to people.
Oh.
Yeah,
Well, he kept me
because,
company.
well, that's good. If he wasn't too strange.
Sometimes ghosts seem friendly, but they want something from you. Something that you can't give.
Okay.
What did you talk about, Cassie, with Silvio?
He asked about Vincent and I and how we met. And then we talked about my mother, and he said that I should maybe try and talk to her.
Did you give him the name of your mother?
No.
No, okay. Still, it's encouraging that this one talked to you. It means that you're not quite as toxic to them as I might have thought.
Well, that's a bonus.
Cassie, have you died before? I mean, before this.
I don't think so. Like, legally, probably not.
But you've had near-death experience?
I mean, a couple. When I was... I mean, it was... When I was embraced, it was a little fuzzy. I was definitely, perhaps in the process of dying. And then I was embraced.
Have you had any other weird experiences of late with ghosts or spirits or things that you thought were ghosts or spirits?
Vincent noticeably is cringing, like, at the question, like, that's a loaded question.
I think Cassie's gonna look at Vincent, actually.
Without me there is what she's getting at.
Hmm.
I kind of make spooky shit happen. She's talking about when I'm not around.
I mean, I talk to my mother, but I think that's more of a Malkavian thing than a spooky ghost thing. And Cora and Elliot,
She comes over. May I look into your eyes for a moment?
Cassie's like very wide-eyed, like staring at her and nods.
Oh, that's perfect. And she kind of looks into each of your eyes, one after the other. Cassie, you're not haunted. Whatever is happening to you is coming from inside of you. Whatever you're seeing or experiencing, or if you feel that you're being embodied by other people, it's coming from inside of you. It's in your blood somehow. We can't really help you. The only way you might find help is by investigating your bloodline and seeing.
So, like, talking to my sire?
Well, that would be a good place to start. Do you know him or them?
He invited me to his RV.
An RV, and she looks at Vincent like, an RV. Wow.
So he's staying up in the parks, and she wants to go see him.
Well, you don't have to, but if you want to find out why your blood might be playing tricks on you, aside from it being Malkavian blood, of course. Have you been somewhere, Cassie, somewhere strange, a place that felt like it wasn't normal or the real world?
Yeah. The hospital.
The hospital?
There's a hospital in Chicago before it got turned into apartments. They just tend to do that all the time with old buildings. There's a basement. I went to the basement and yeah, that place.
And what was down there?
A man, Professor Hollings.
Was it a crypt? Was it what was the place that you saw?
I mean, it was kind of just like almost like an abandoned hospital, like the basement of an abandoned hospital. It's like a maze.
She perks up when you say that, and she looks at Vincent. A maze, you say?
And Cassie's visibly getting uncomfortable. It was like a maze. Leading up to going there, I was seeing this image of a maze a lot in my dreams. Even when I was awake too, it would just sort of come to me like I was flying over it.
I thought that where she's talking about in the city is full straight up haunted as fuck, to put it bluntly. And I thought it was an old asylum that has condos built on it now. And when she recounted what she could to me, given the amount of spiritual activity in the area, we'll say, I thought it was just a representation of the shroud and how thin it is there, given the number of spirits that are there. You thinking this could be something more?
I'm thinking the maze is probably not the shroud. The maze is probably something protecting something.
There was a woman at the center. That's
What was she
quite.
like?
She was French. Kind. Like me, maybe?
Is there a reason why spirits would be referring to you as the Madonna, Cassie?
No, I don't.
There's not much we can do for you, Cassie. What is afflicting you is not a matter of the spirit world. It is something in your blood or perhaps in your mind. I believe investigating those two other options might be best for you, but you might want to think whether or not you want the answers that these will provide.
I appreciate your time, regardless. Thank you.
And of course, and she comes over and she takes your hand and goes, "Your family now."
Cassie looks back at Vincent.
Vincent just kind of smiles and nods.
Okay. Thank you, I think.
Ludo, there is one other thing. During the ritual, and he walks over to Cassie. You know that we perceive the world differently with the ghost sight. And whatever we thought that was possessing her, and he like puts his hands up to like Cassie's like chest area or whatnot, and he goes, "We're gonna show her." And he pulls the collar of her shirt aside just enough to show the mark. It was coming from here.
She goes over.
Whatever it was coming from here.
Was something taken from you? Did you have something there?
The professor pulled something out of me. He said that it was put in me when I was turned. That they put it there.
This professor is kindred.
Malkavian, yes.
Can you describe the object?
It was like a shard of some kind.
Wood, plastic, stone?
Remind me, Bleak, what was it again?
Good question. I have to go look at the notes. Well, okay, I'll go look at the notes, but you tell her. It was glass. It was like glass.
That's what I thought. It was like a black glass, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like a black sort of glass shard, I think.
And she goes over to the desk and she picks up a little pen and a piece of paper and she comes back. She goes, I hear you're somewhat of an artist.
Yeah.
Could you try to draw an approximation of what you saw?
Sure, and she'll go and she'll take the pencil. Start sketching it out.
Okay. I'm not quite sure what this is, but I'll look into it and I will send word to Vincent if I find anything.
Okay.
It was a pleasure to meet you, Cassie. I hope I get to see you again soon. I'm sorry for Uncle Silvio, but he's harmless.
No, he was really nice. He likes Frank Sinatra. You should play that more for him.
I will remember that. She turns to you, Vincent. She says, "You're welcome to stay here as long as you want. The car is at your disposal." About that other thing we talked, I might suggest you could consider looking into this hospital and all that. If it is some sort of protection, it might be hiding something interesting.
Yeah. I think we probably will stay here at the house while we're in the city. May have a couple other guests, don't know. But you're gonna laugh, but I think I'm gonna take her to meet Sarah.
Why would I laugh?
Well, you know.
All right. We'll speak again soon. Enjoy your stay in New York.
Thank you.
Vincent will speak. Meanwhile, across the city, what do you have in mind?
Nothing too nefarious. I don't really want word about this getting around. You can keep a secret, right? And she doesn't really trust him, but she kind of cuts him a look that says, "I'll kill you."
Mm-hmm.
And it's very confident.
So you want me to work for you?
I don't necessarily want that, but she's going to pull her wallet out and she'll hand him one of her business cards for the shop, and it's got her cell phone on it. And she will sort of hem and haw. if you get something like this again, anything, call me first.
All right, but if you think you're the first one to try and swindle Bahari,
I don't want to swindle her. I want to look a little bit better for her. You'd help me do that, wouldn't you? I can say, well, I found these things for you, and then present them to her. Imagine how pleased she'd be.
tell you what, do me this favor, bring this back to Chicago, and I'll at least give you one try, and we can see from there if we like it.
Excellent. I think that we can come to an agreement. Not to mention, I do run a curio shop in Chicago.
Do you?
Yeah, it's the card that I handed you. And it's this beautiful black cardstock with gold embossed writing on it, and it's very swirly and elegant. Should you want to come down to Chicago anytime, if you could pull yourself away, I'd be most happy to host you. Perhaps that you and I can find some sort of arrangement, a partnership, if you will. We both benefit here from the odd of the world.
We do, and as far as business is concerned, I'm more than happy to do business where whoever brings me profit. But just between you and me, your kind and my kind don't usually mix too well.
Now, why would you say such a thing like that?
I think you hear from the like back of the shop. He's a fucking wolf.
This, I think she'll kind of like cut Teddy a look, like, shut up, man.
I smell dog. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to put things together, okay? And she like turns around and pretends to look at something.
Sorry.
Your friend's not wrong.
I could smell it as well. I'm not stupid.
I'm a little more accepting than a lot of my brethren, but you know, I think if you were to invite me over for dinner, it probably wouldn't go too well.
No.
Best if we keep it as a professional distance relationship.
I appreciate that warning. But Bogdan, we have something magical here. Two curious people, two adventurers into the dark markets. Two sides of a coin.
He looks over at Teddy. Hey, truck stop.
Yeah, what?
You remind her? You here to take care of her? Is that your role here?
I'm just here to hang out, man.
She's a friend.
Emotional support.
Well, I think it's probably time for you to emotionally support your friend and tell her that we've pretty much reached the end of this discussion.
She like walks over to Helena. You ready to go?
I think she stares a little longer at Bogdan, and she takes the statue and kind of tucks into her bag and takes the jar. Call me if you find anything else, please. One trial.
Certainly.
She'll hold a hand out.
He reaches out, takes it.
Absolute pleasure to meet you.
We'll find out, won't we?
Oh, We will. And there is something sickly and gross and like slimy about the way she says that. It is wrong.
And from up close, Teddy, as you look closely at this guy, you can see that he's got like his skin is mottled and he's got like rashes and little lesions a little bit everywhere.
I think as Helena turns to leave, Teddy like pauses and kind of lowers her voice a little bit, you know, from one dog to another. I don't know how the fuck you stood looking at that statue for so long.
Well, it depends which side of it you're looking at.
Interesting.
If you're worried about the dog, then it's a little disturbing, but if you find the worm more intriguing, then it's a beautiful piece of art.
I try to stay away from things that would give me worms. And with that, she kind of like turns around.
I'll be in touch.
So long.
The two of you walk out of the center. Lee's outside. As you walk out, he says, I sent the driver home. Figured we can always grab a cab.
Or we could enjoy a little night air. Have a little walk.
Sure, everything go okay in there?
She like looks at Helena and then back to him. Yeah, except for werewolves? Is that real? Or is this real?
Werewolves in Manhattan?
I thought they stayed in London.
London. The song.
Depends. Some of them like the city. Got your glass walkers, got your bone gnars, shadow lords. They don't mind the city.
What the fuck?
I'll let Jim educate you about it.
She looks at Helena. Do I smell like wet dog to you?
No, not at all. You smell very nice.
Well, I don't know if I would go that far, but thank you.
Teddy,
Well, yeah.
I'm sorry. Something he said triggers a memory. You remember one of your earlier adventures in your old life as Teddy. You had gone to a party. You had seen Cora for the first time. You remember that Cora, when you had seen her, you had seen Atia Giovanni, the head of the Giovanni family, was there. You had seen Cora was with a group of men who were dressed in suits, and that the two kind of hated each other. And the only thing you'd heard was that the group that Cora was with were called Glasswalkers.
You can put that in my pocket.
You can go back and watch the episode. It was in it.
Yeah.
So what do you want to do? Find a bar, get smashed?
Oh my god. Really?
I don't know what else you want to do.
I mean, we're in New York. We should, I'm sure Vincent and Cass are quite occupied now. We got some time before the sun rises. Maybe we could go have some fun for once. Just one moment of fun. She looks at Helena, like, hopefully.
I like fun. Fun's good.
What about...
Do you want to go bowling?
Oh my fucking god.
No. I'm not putting my feet in shoes that other people have put their feet in. That's horrible and gross.
We're in New York and you want to go fucking bowling?
Well, where do you want to go?
Oh, Coney Island, maybe? I mean, when in Rome? I think that's what they say.
God, you look so excited about Coney Island.
It's
I've
really
never seen
cute.
anyone be excited about Coney Island.
I mean,
Have you never
fair
been?
food? I haven't had a funnel cake in I don't know how long. Rides, games. Helena, we could get a goldfish. I could talk to the goldfish.
We could get the goldfish.
I don't think a goldfish can hold a discussion, but
Have you been
could go
talking
for
to
a pretzel.
goldfish, Lee?
Have you tried?
no, I have not tried to talk.
Okay, so
Exactly.
we'll try. It's
Or
because
try.
there's that fishing game where you get the goldfish and then you just get a free goldfish.
All right, fine. Look, fine. You want to go to Coney Island? Let's go to Coney Island. What's the worst that could happen? And on that note, my
Yeah, I
friends,
don't know.
What
No,
is
that
the
don't
worst
make
that could
sense.
happen?
Who's to say?
I don't, not me.
A little
I
less
don't know.
innocence.
I don't know what could happen in Coney Island. No bad things, of course. Thank you all so much for hanging out with us. Thank you all so much for the game and my players. You are absolutely phenomenal. Thank you to the chat. Thank you to Riv and Sarah for moderating. Thank you for all the donations, everyone hanging out with us. We love you very, very, very much.